Welcome back. If day 3 essentials taught you how to drive a car, this session will teach you how to take it off-road. Because here's the thing nobody tells you after you learn a framework. Frameworks make you better, but you need to have a plan so you can deviate. You're not going to get a breakthrough idea if you do the same thing everybody else is doing. In this case, if you want to build better ideas, the path to better ideas is creating more ideas, but also putting in friction. And in a few minutes, I'll explain to you what that means. Let me tell you a story that's been repeated hundreds of times. And it's research that's been repeated. Researchers give two groups the same challenge. One group has unlimited resources, total freedom, no constraints, anything goes. The other group has restrictions, limited tools, banned directions, forced boundaries. The typical result, the restricted group almost always beats the group with unlimited resources. Why? Restrictions force our brain to work better and harder. Typical increase in quality of ideas is around 30%. That's not slightly better, that's dramatically better. What you need to know for you as an individual is you need a wall to push against. Otherwise, you drift back to average. The model is simple. Constraint forces synthesis, which produces innovation. Here's friction in action. In 1960, a publisher made a bet with Theodore Geisel, the man we know as Dr. Seuss. The best. You can't write a children's book using only 50 words. Now think about that. What a reasonable person would do with that constraint. They'd complain, they'd negotiate, they'd say, look, I need 150. Nope. He did none of that. He sat down and wrote Green Eggs and Ham, one of the best-selling children's books in the history of publishing. Still in print, still being read to children tonight somewhere in the world. The constraint didn't shrink the idea. It forced a completely different kind of thinking. The wall was the obstacle. The wall was the brief. The friction framework has 3 steps, and they're simple. Step 1. Define the wall. Look at your brief. Identify the most obvious directions AI will take, the safe answers, the expected ones. Ban them explicitly in the problem. Step 2, build up a bridge. Go to some place that's completely unrelated. Remember, we go back to our formula, stimulus and diversity. The more diverse your source of ideas, the more diverse the place you're looking for, the more stimulus. It can be anything, a sport, a natural phenomenon, historical period, anything you want. Step 3 is you want the result. If we know how you want to work on it, how you want things to put together. That's the collision. That's the synthesis. The more wrong the combination feels, the more right the output's likely to be. Let me give you an example. Meet the Guardian newspaper, 100 years old, survived 2 world wars, the death of print, the internet, the collapse of public trust. Now they need to reach Gen Z, 18 to 26-year-olds who get their news from a 19-year-old on TikTok, who believe every institution, every single one has an agenda. Here's what makes this brief interesting. The problem isn't that Gen Z hasn't heard of the Guardian. Of course they have. The problem is they have a complicated relationship with being told what is true. So they open up an AI and type their brief. AI comes back with, create a TikTok account, short clips, memes, influencer partnerships, student discount. Sound familiar? It should. Every legacy media brand on the planet is doing exactly this. BBC, CNN, New York Times, all of them. And here's the problem. None of it addresses the real tension. It assumes Gen Z would read The Guardian if it only arrived in a shorter video format. The issue isn't the format. The issue is trust. You can't solve a trust problem with a TikTok account. This is what happens when AI gets a vague question. It gives you the internet's most average answer dressed up as strategy. Now watch what happens when we apply a bit of friction. First, a constraint. What are the obvious things? We're going to say, look, you can't use the following words: news, journalism, reporting, truth, or credibility. Not once. We just banned the entire vocabulary. Second, we're going to add in a domain. This one I find is kind of creative. The logic of a 100-year-old tree. Rings, roots, slow growth, every year of survival written into the structure itself. Now AI has the connection between a newspaper that survived everything and a tree that did the same, without a single word from usual playback. It came back with this. Every year is a ring. It did not lie to you. 100 rings still standing. Read that again. There's not a single mention of journalism, no mention of truth. And yet it's the most honest thing the Guardian has ever said to a generation that trusts nothing. So there's 5 steps to do this. Write your goal in 1 sentence. List the most obvious ideas. Ban all 3. Put the bans explicitly in the prompt. Pick one unrelated domain. The more unexpected, the better. Force AI to solve your goal using only the logic of that domain. Then review. Keep only what could have not have existed without the constraints. That last step is your quality filter. What are you going to see? Car structures your thinking. It provides clarity. It provides better ideas consistently. If you apply the friction framework, you'll break the thinking patterns. You'll add constraints. Sometimes you'll get breakthroughs. Sometimes you'll just get bad ideas. 3 things to take with you. 1, constraints produce 30% more novel solutions than unlimited resources. It's empirical. It's factual. It works with AI. It works with humans. 2, if you really want great ideas, want to take them 1 step further, AI and you need a wall. Without one, you will find the average every single time. 3, the more discomfort you feel when you write a friction prompt, the more likely you are to be doing it right. The discomfort in your prompt is not a problem, it's the point. Great creativity is not the absence of limits, it's what happens when you weaponize them. You came in knowing how to prompt AI, you're leaving with 2 frameworks that change how you think, not just how you type. CAR for consistently better ideas, friction for breakthrough. Use them together, use them on something real today. And remember, the best brief you'll ever write is the one that makes you feel uncomfortable. Let's go break something. Here's some ideas to learn more. Same links as before. The friction formula, just so you know how to apply it again. Write your goal. List obvious ideas. Ban them. Pick unrelated domain. And force AI to solve. We want you to do that step by step. And we're going to give you a prompt you can do it. First, write your goal. List the obvious ideas, ban them, pick unrelated, and tell the format that you want. You're done when you have used friction to build a better solution. Here's the prompt to fill in. May the force be with you. We'll also explain this in the demo video.